Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Mandy and I'm gonna do something strange today. So I'm kind of nervous because I don't know how it's gonna turn out. But we're gonna use this 12-inch cradled wood round from Lolivefe. And today's pour is gonna be hopefully a negative space swipe. But I was inspired by, I was inspired by a pour that I saw Shelee do, and I will link the video below. I thinned out my pillow a little bit with water. That's why I said oh no, because I saw that it was not very well mixed in one spot. So to avoid problems, I'm going to try to mix it a little bit right now. So I had an 8-inch painting recently crack, and I think it's because I left too much paint on. But it just worried me a little bit that maybe the pillow I had in this jar was too thick. So, and now I just introduced a whole bunch of bubbles, so that's fantastic. So I'm gonna whack this thing on the counter a little bit and see if I can't get rid of those bubbles. But anyway, I saw her do, she called it a comb-over swipe. So she did a couple of long puddles and then she put some color on the edges. Give me just a second. Okay. And she swiped some cell activator across, and then she ran a comb through it, and I thought it turned out super cool looking, and so I commented and said how cool I thought it was and that I wanted to try it. So I'm gonna try it. Now obviously she made it look easy, and I'm sure it's not, so so yeah. So I'm gonna link her video so you can check it out, because I'm sure I'm not going to do it any justice. But I love trying new things with this recipe, and so when I saw it I was like, that's really cool. And it turned out to look very abstract, but very it was very cool looking. I really liked it. She's done a couple of them, but this particular one I really liked. So my two main puddle colors are going to be Midnight Blue from Matisse. I love this color. It's one of my favorites. And this is called Meadow from Colourarte. This is one of the Bling It colors from the Glasswing set. And then I think I'm going to use Aquarius, which is a primary element, but it's part of the Glitz set. This is Aquarius. And Phthalo Blue from Atelier. I just picked some random colors. This is called Winter, and this is a primary element. It's a beautiful like gray silver. And I had a little bit of Interference Violet mixed up, so I'm going to use that. That's from Colourarte. And then I'm going to use a little bit of Permanent Blue Violet from Amsterdam. So, I'm really nervous. But let me go ahead and get started. Since I don't know where my negative space is going to be, I can't be having random stuff in my white paint up here. So, okay, super nervous, and I'm going to be doing the comb, the dragging of the comb with this comb, and I got this on Amazon, and I'm super nervous. But first, for the cell activator, I'm going to swipe with my usual swipe tool, and I'm going to use a white cell activator and a blue-black cell activator. So, I forgot to get that out. Sorry, my dog apparently thinks I'm talking too much. So, okie dokie, here we go. I'm so nervous. But I always like to try new things, and I'm on a real swipe kick lately, so I figured, why not? Put my paints out of the way. Oh my goodness. I have paint coming out like crazy over here. I probably have way too much paint on my canvas, but try to level it out a little bit. I put a couple of drops of water in it just because it was a little bit thick, because I had moved it into a jar and I noticed that what was in that jar was a little bit thicker than perhaps what it usually is. So I'm so nervous. So we're gonna do a long puddle of this. Which is probably too much, but trying to correct where I kind of put a weird line in here. Okay, and then underneath that, but a little bit this way, we're gonna put this Meadow color. I might not be putting it close enough to the blue. So let me do better. And I feel like I'm not being very entertaining. I'm sorry, I'm like super focused, trying to make sure I don't totally screw this up. All right. And on the edge of these colors, I think she might have even put it further down on the bottom, so I might have some regrets by not going a little bit lower. She put some of these colors. I'm going to go ahead and use up this one because I've had it mixed up a while and it's a very complementary color to this. So I'm going to use this one and I'm going to be kind of sparing on the other ones, some of them. That was probably way too much, but. So then we're going to put, oops, I'm dropping stuff everywhere, y'all. I'm getting paint everywhere too, so apparently my turner's not super level. Okay, I have a lot of paint on here. And we're gonna put a little bit of the blue. What I'm a little bit nervous about is that I've created a line that's too big to swipe across. So from here on out, I probably need to keep it narrow enough so that I can, you know, swoosh it across there. So the winter, beautiful color. And this one I do want quite a bit of. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the blue violet right next to the winter because I kind of want to mute it a little bit. I just went with paints I already had mixed up, and I was going to use a green color, and my green has been mixed up for so long that it dried out a little bit. So I don't want that purple color to be too dominant. Oh, look what I did. And then interference violet. And I have just a little bit of this left, so I'm going to just kind of put a lot. Because it's going to be semi-transparent anyway. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm losing my colors quick because I have too much paint on the canvas. So probably a good thing that I put so much of that other color on there. I'm so nervous. Okay. I'm going to load up my palette knife So the last color, but the color I put on first will be the color that's most dominant. So I'm actually going to put the blue black on first. And I'm going to sprinkle the white. Okay. So the blue black will be a lot more dominant, and I'm just drizzling the white on so it's not going to be super noticeable. All right. Here's my palette knife. Just going to swipe across. And there's a lot of paint on there, so I swiped a bunch of it off. Now I'm going to pop a couple bubbles. Because I have so much paint on here, I have a lot of bubbles. I'm going to let the cells develop for just a second, even though time is sort of the essence at this point. I think I probably would have liked that better if I just used the blue black, but or put the blue back on the bottom, because I forgot that I was swiping over Midnight Blue, so that may not be enough contrast, but oh well. I'm just gently breaking the surface tension so that the cells will come through. Okay, now this is going to be so weird. I don't like the way the blue violet looks with this. I should have just left it out, but it's there now. So I'm going to kind of swipe where it is to mute it a little bit. I don't know how that's going to go. I feel like I kind of lost momentum here. So I'm going to pick it up and spin or turn it around a little bit. Like I said, she makes this look so much easier than when I do it. And I'm kind of leaning toward running the paint down this way, but if I do that too much, we're gonna have flocculation. I'm sorry that y'all can't see exactly what I'm doing here. I actually like the part that I'm tipping off a lot more than I like what's up here. So I might just go a little bit different than what she did. The phthalo blue is starting to give us a little bit of flocculation, not a whole lot. So what I'm going to do now is just sort of tilt it back up this way. I don't know that I like this. I may want to pour over it and then just omit some of those colors. I'm gonna get it though. I love the idea of it. I didn't do a good job on the combing part. Let's spin it very slowly. Like I said, I love the idea of it. I would rather have cleaner lines on the top than I have. And I would rather not have the blue violet. So I think I may just go again. I have enough paint. I would just have to sub out some of my colors. I don't have enough of the same colors. But I love the way the Midnight Blue and the Meadow look together. I don't like the blue violet in that mix. So I think what I may swipe through is just more pigments instead of trying to do too much color. So let me scrape this. I'm getting paint all over the place. And let me rinse off my hands and we'll go again. The problem with a negative space swipe is you got to make sure you get to your edges because you don't know where your negative space is going to be. You don't want it to bleed through. Okay. Sorry for the long video, y'all, but I like to share the fails too. I had to switch to Indigo because I didn't have enough midnight blue. So this is a Matisse Indigo. It's one of my favorite colors. I'm still going to use Meadow because I had enough of that one still. And I ended up getting rid of the permanent blue violet because I just didn't like the way that that looked. I tried to go a little bit lower on the round, but I don't think I went quite low enough to kind of go for what I wanted, but it's okay. This is practice. I keep telling myself it's practice. It's not supposed to be perfect yet. That's why I shared the first goof up, but that made this video really long. So we're going to put Winter down first, which is the primary element we used in the first one. I really love that color. It's really beautiful. Excuse me. And I mixed what I had left of Tropic Blue and Aquarius. I don't know what color that was. So that's what that color is. It's a little too close to the Meadow color, but I wanted to use up what I had left. And now I'm going to use Robin's Egg instead of an interference color. Robin's Egg is a beautiful, beautiful color. It's part of the Dragonfly set. And a little more Winter. And I'm super nervous. And this time, instead of doing the white and then the blue black, I did the blue black and then the white. I kind of wish I had left that the same. But that's for the cell activator. Okay. And that's what I'm doing, is loading up my palette knife. I really needed to have that block of color have a little bit showing on either side of the swipe. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to reverse it and do the white cell activator, and I'm going to drizzle the blue black on top of the white instead of vice versa. I hope I don't regret that, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm so on the fence about this. I feel like I have way too much cell activator. Okay. I'm going to go like this. Oh gosh. Already wasn't the greatest endeavor. Let's see. I don't know if y'all saw what I did, but I dripped it on there first. I used way too much cell activator. Let's see what comes through. Meanwhile, I'm going to clean up after myself. My dog's over here making noises. It sounds funny because I'm blowing on this and she's snorting at the door. I don't know. There's very little like negative space. I don't know. It may be a total failure. We'll find out. Let's let it develop for just another minute and then we'll see. It might be one of those really simple negative space swipes, except for the fact that I'm about to drag a comb through it. And so that kind of takes away the simplicity of the color. You know me, I'm like bold and loud with the color, and then here I go with this one, which is a lot more muted and soft, but then I'm gonna go dragging a comb through it, so let's see. I'm so nervous. And the cells that I like the most are right here, and that's probably where we're gonna drag our comb. Maybe we'll go right here. I don't know, y'all. I'm very nervous. But it's just paint, you know, the grand scheme of things. It's not like it was $1 million diamond ring or something. I drug it way too low, I think. See what I mean? She makes it look so easy. The first time, I didn't go deep enough. This time, it's like, what did I just do? I drug so much of the paint off. So I'm tempted to like tilt it all the way around like last time. I'm not gonna call it a failure yet, because it might be really funky and cool. I do need to somehow get some composition out of it, however. Even if the composition is strange. But you know, with negative space swipes these days being on the rise and sort of trendy, you don't have to have even composition for them to be cool. Kind of looks like a bear claw. Somehow when she did it, there was negative space on the other side of the swiped part, and so it grabbed the blue by itself and made these like really cool teeth marks. I'm gonna spin it a little bit, see what happens. My press and seal that's underneath my turner is totally drenched with paint, so if you see it flying around, that's what you're seeing. I don't know that I like this. But I'm probably going to share it with you guys anyway, because I'm probably going to keep trying it. I'm kind of leaning toward expanding the part that's kind of cool looking, which is this part over here, and seeing what happens with this random, what looks like a brain on your side. I could see how doing this comb thing could be very cool if you get it right. I'm tempted to comb through this other part, but I think we've already done too much damage to it. Then again, if you've already done so much damage, what's the difference, right? But I don't like how this has really cute little succinct cells, and these over here are so big. So I'm kind of leaning toward tilting it off. But then we're going to have some random color on the bottom. I have a lot of paint, thankfully, to get it off of there. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. Hers was so cool looking. Like, I loved it a lot. At first, when she was going to swipe through with the comb, I was like, no! But then, once she finished messing with it, I was like, that's really cool. So now I kind of like this. Now it's kind of a simple, negative space swipe with a kind of a weird composition. The colors are very beautiful. They're very muted. Well, they're not muted, but they're muted for me because I usually do the bright, the bold, the sparkly, the extra sparkly. But you know, we've got a little bit of the gray down here represented. The Meadow and the Indigo are the primary colors. The Meadow has some large particulates in it, so it even looks like, because we've stretched it so far, it looks very sparkly in some places, and it's not flocculation per se, but because it has such large sparkle in it, it kind of stretches out and adds some shimmer to everything. So I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna share this with you guys anyway. But I'd love to know your thoughts on the composition. It's so super different than what I normally do. I'm afraid to keep spinning it because I'm afraid to lose all of the composition that we do have, which is not necessarily what we intended to have, but it does have its own composition now. So I don't have paint moving anymore, so I'm gonna leave it alone, pop some bubbles, bring you down for a close-up. But I'm curious what you think. It's super different for me. It's a lot more muted, a lot more minimal looking. Not at all what I was going for either time. So obviously it requires a lot more practice than it looks like. But I want to keep trying it, and I'm excited to try it with some other colors. And I need to, some things I learned today, if I'm going to share my fails, some things I learned today. If I'm going to try that, I need to start a little bit lower on the canvas or the board to make sure that I can cover the bottom half of the wood round if that's what I'm going for. And I need to press evenly with the comb. I also need to swipe in such a way where I have a block of color on the top and on the bottom. So maybe use a smaller palette knife or create a broader strip of color. I'll figure that out. But I need to not be too heavy-handed, because it's like if you're too heavy-handed, you move too much paint out of the way. If you're not heavy-handed enough, you don't move the paint enough, and then it looks muddy. So I probably was also using too much pillow paint, which obviously is probably the case because we have so much that we tilted off and we still were able to cover it completely. So those are some things I learned. I am not very patient with not being good at things. So I share things with you guys because I'm sure a lot of us are the same. And if you're trying something and you're not maybe getting the result that you want, it's super frustrating, but that's part of practicing and growing and learning. And that's what I love about this recipe, is you can do so many weird different things with it. And so I really appreciate that she shared her technique so that we can all practice it. I've already seen a couple people using random hair tools in their paintings, so it's probably going to be a new fun thing. But I will try my best to link the video below so you can see what I was going for and how I did not at all get that. But I'll be right back with a close-up. Hey everyone, oops, let me turn off my ring light. Sorry about that. So here is our weird little practice swipe. It's growing on me, I have to admit. I love the way it looks like this, because it looks like we did this on purpose. We did not, but here's our weird bear claw. Well, it's more than, I don't know, it's so strange, like it's Wolverine. I don't know. I left this weird blue stripe there, but I kind of like it. I love the way the Meadow looks, and this is what I mean about the particulates. You see how it kind of spread out even over some of the negative space as we continue to drag that paint across. And here's the other Wolverine part. I don't know. It's so different than what I wanted, but I kind of like it. It's bizarre. And you know, a lot of our negative space swipes have bizarre composition, so other than the fact that there's really no cells down here, other than some small ones, I like this winter color. and it's sort of in this place only. So it adds a little contrast. There's some robin's egg in there for you. It's a gorgeous color. So, I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. I kind of wish this was alive so you could tell me, no, scrape that, or no, leave it. It's kind of funky and kind of cool. So, again, thank you for watching. I don't know that I want you to share this one, but if you're new to my channel, I hope that you subscribe and throw me a thumbs up for sharing my adventures with you. And again, I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget, you can save 20% for anything on the Colourarte website using my code listed below. It's Mandy1120. And 15% off for Boom Gels, Australian Floetrol, and anything on the Pixel Paint Designs website with Mandy15, all caps. And that's also listed below. So check out the description box below. Thank you again for watching. Bye.